All right, let's jump right in. We all know those hyper-cinematic Super Bowl level commercials, right? The ones that absolutely scream massive Hollywood budget and huge production crew? Well, what if I told you that's completely optional now? Today, we're diving into a genuinely fascinating workflow from a creator named Adil over at Higgsfield AI. He essentially proved you can conjure up jaw-dropping, professional-grade, high-tension sports ads right from your laptop.
This whole crazy journey actually started with a classic childhood obsession. Growing up, Ale spent way too many hours watching American football. But here's the funny thing, it wasn't just the game he was hooked on. He was totally obsessed with those high-octane commercials during the halftime breaks. And, like literally everyone else, he just assumed you needed millions of dollars and a giant studio backlot to pull off anything even remotely close to that quality. Fast forward to right now, and that assumption totally flipped on its head. And honestly, the realization that changes the game completely is just this. Turns out you just needed one website. That is such an empowering premise. Think about it. Whatever wild, hyper-niche ideas floating around in your head can actually be made real. For Adil, that meant mashing up his childhood love for this sci-fi robot cartoon called JetX with an intense game of football. In this explainer, we're going to break down the exact, incredibly accessible AI toolkit he used to bring this wonderfully weird vision to life on screen.
To pull this off, the workflow breaks down into 4 clear stages. We've got Stage 1, asset creation, Stage 2, prompt framework, Stage 3, scene generation, and wrapping it all up, the iteration skill. Let's get right into Stage 1.
So, Stage 1, asset creation.
Now, before you even think about moving a single pixel, you have to lock in your visual elements. If you don't, these AI models are just going to guess, and you'll end up with a messy soup of hallucinations. Think of this as your digital casting and location scouting phase. You want to assign specific jobs to the tools that do them best. For example, GPT Image 2 is absolutely brilliant at handling technical product maps, stuff like a 3-angle layout for the commercial's fictional top-up soda can. Then you've got Soul Cinema. This is your absolute workhorse for that cinematic style, mainly because its default output naturally looks like a still straight out of a movie. And finally, Claude steps in as your digital assistant director, handling all the prompt structuring so you don't have to.
So, what exact assets do we actually need to lock down here? The pre-production list is surprisingly short, but it is absolutely vital. First up, that 3-angle product sheet for the soda can. Next, a hero character sheet. Fun fact, Adil actually uploaded 20 different photos of himself into Soul Cinema just to get a super consistent personalized avatar. Then we need our location, an empty modern New York City street. To get that gritty movie feel, he specifically prompted for an anamorphic lens and film grain. Finally, the futuristic props. The hero robot armor labeled number 7, the rival in black armor labeled number 9, a metallic red football, and an electric glowing goal. The absolute best part of this phase? Tools like Soul Cinema give you 8 generated images for just 1 single credit. You can experiment on the cheap until the aesthetic is literally perfect.
All right, moving right along to Stage 2, prompt framework.
Now, this scripting phase right here is where so many creators just hit a massive brick wall. They burn through their credits, they burn through their time, basically just overloading prompts and crossing their fingers. It's that painful amateur loop, right? You guess what the AI wants, you fail, you edit a couple words, you guess again. And it's a mess. The pro workflow completely bypasses this headache. Instead of guessing, you take all those locked assets we just talked about, feed them directly into a large language model like Claude, and let the AI structure the perfect prompt. You let it do the heavy lifting for you.
The real secret sauce is establishing what we call a master context. You take the full video script, the hero's exact outfit, the deserted NYC street, the robot designs, the ball, the glowing goal, the whole shebang, and you feed every single piece of it into a custom Claude skill. By defining your universe perfectly in Claude first, the prompt it spits out is pure gold. When you paste that into a video generator, like Higgsfield's Cans 2.0, it automatically links all your assets seamlessly. Your guy drops right into the street scene, wearing the correct armor, without you having to micromanage and re-explain every little detail.
Okay, let's dive straight into Stage 3, scene generation.
This is where things get genuinely fun, but you need a major mindset shift. You are no longer just a prompter, you are a director. Look at the camera cues being used. Instead of just typing a robot runs, you are anchoring the scene visually. You ask for a handheld shake to give it that raw, real camera operator feel on the field. You throw in Dutch angles or low-angle cinematic shots to ramp up the tension between the robots. You demand super macro close-ups to really feel the physical impact of metal armor snapping together. Using this specific professional cinematic terminology is exactly what turns a generic AI clip into a high-end commercial.
But look, things will go wrong. Characters are going to run backward, or suddenly lose a natural smile, or stare into the void with completely empty eyes. It happens. But as Otto puts it, I stop giving Claude vague notes and start directing shot by shot. That is incredibly key. You don't scrap everything and start over from scratch. You give firm, precise director's notes to your LLM. You literally tell it, hey, the smile is broken, fix it. Make him run forward, not backward. Give me a macro close-up. You review the dailies, you give your notes, and Claude rewrites a technically perfect prompt for the next take.
Now, sometimes words just aren't enough to fix a scene. During this specific production, they hit a really frustrating hurdle. The glowing football goal kept randomly teleporting around the street between shots. 1 second it's way in the background, the next it's magically floating in the middle of the frame. The AI just couldn't grasp the spatial anchor. The fix for this? Something called a location scheme. Basically, it's a visual map you feed the AI so it knows exactly where objects are supposed to live in 3D space.
The way you execute this is actually brilliantly simple. Step 1, you generate a high-angle, wide shot of your street. Step 2, you open up literally any basic drawing app and just slap 2 dots down exactly where you want those goals to sit. Step 3, feed that messy doodle into GPT Image 2 and ask it to create a formal location scheme. It'll spit out a proper production-style map with distances and orientations. Finally, Step 4, feed that map right back into your video generator as an anchor. Just like that, the goal's locked perfectly into place for every subsequent shot. As the saying goes, a map beats a paragraph every single time.
Another massive headache? Directing digital physics. We've all seen it. That dead giveaway where AI video just looks incredibly fake and weightless, like everyone is playing on the moon. In one early generation, the hero robot gets tackled and just sort of floats smoothly to the pavement. Total immersion killer. To fix this, you have to explicitly dictate the physical constraints. You tell the AI, listen, this fall needs hard impact, real, heavy weight. You specify that the armor needs to snap and break into heavy metal pieces under pressure, not just magically slice off. By aggressively directing the physics, you strip away that floaty AI aesthetic completely.
Here is a massive pro tip for saving time and credits. Recycle, reuse, and recut. When you're rolling batches of these complex football scenes, you are inevitably going to generate some amazing little moments, like a sick dribbling animation or a fake-out, that just don't fit the current shot. Do not delete them. Save them. Because later, when you need a quick montage of the hero making a comeback, you just drop those unused clips right into the timeline. Need a slide tackle right before the big goal? Don't regenerate a whole 10-second sequence. Just whip up a quick 2-second clip of sparks flying from a slide tackle and splice it right into a goal shot you already have. It is so ridiculously efficient.
Which brings us home to stage 4, the iteration skill.
This right here is the post-production philosophy where all the magic finally clicks together. If you remember one single thing from this explainer, make it this quote: "The final film is just the best 3 seconds of 100 tries cut together." I absolutely love that. The secret to pro AI video generation isn't some mythical, perfect master prompt that magically spits out a finished 30-second commercial. That doesn't exist. The real skill, the absolute superpower, is relentless iteration. It's rolling batches, acting like a true director to give precise notes, hunting down those flawless 3-second micro moments, and then smoothly stitching them together into one seamless story.
When you actually structure your workflow like this, locking in those assets early, making Claude your assistant director, giving real camera and physics notes, and just iterating relentlessly, that massive barrier to entry for cinematic production, it's completely gone. You have the director's playbook right in front of you. The tools are incredibly affordable, and the workflow is totally proven. So, the only question left to ask is, what crazy, impossibly ambitious idea are you going to bring to life next?